safety, you know?
What's up, everybody? In today's episode, I am going to be creating a custom harness bar for the e36. So a harness bar is essentially a bar that holds up a harness. Go figure. They're primarily used for street cars that happen to have like bucket seats and harnesses, like 4-point, 5-point, 6-point, that don't necessarily want to go with like a 4-point roll cage, 6-point, 8-point. Like they just want the simple bar to hold up their harness for the safety aspect of the angle of the harness, without going too extreme in building a cage. So you can buy these universal harness bars that bolt to the side at 2 points, an upper and a lower point on the side of the A-pillar bar. That will do the same job. However, those do have a minor flaw. Well, I wouldn't really say minor, but they do have a flaw, and that is there is no support in the center. The universal ones are great for just cheap, ready to go harness bars that will do the job. However, in the unlikely event, or the unfortunate event rather, of a collision, there is the possibility of them essentially folding in on themselves in the center, and that's what I kind of want to get away from. So I do have some material to make a harness bar. I've got 1-inch 120 wall DOM tubing, as well as some 3/16 inch plate to make a functional harness bar specific for my car. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some measurements of what the mounts are going to be, and then we're going to get everything cut. So the weather does look a little bit rainy, so hopefully it holds off and we can weld up a little bit, but if not, we'll have the material ready to go for whenever the sun comes back out and weather isn't going to be an issue, that I can be in here and weld. So, alright, so in the back of the car, we are going to get a couple measurements. I kind of already measured it, so pretty much just going to kind of go over what the plan is, and that is to use the factory mounts of where the seatbelt goes, because I still do need the passenger one, at least as far as seatbelt, but I do need to get this harness elevated enough that my spine doesn't collapse in the event of an accident. So what the goal is going to be is I'm going to take two, I'd say about 6 to 7 inch pieces of flat stock and send them off at an angle to kind of be level with the back of the seat, and then send a straight piece of DOM tubing to the other side to mount up with the other arm. From there, I'm going to triangulate a piece from the harness bar to this little shelf right here. Basically going to make a little step for it out of the 3/16 inch plate. Just going to like weld one to the side, weld one on the top, get this guy out of the way, and then make 2 little tabs for a third one on the triangulated piece to bolt into, so this doesn't move, and nothing shifts. Essentially going to get all the pieces up and then get the angle of this correctly. I'm probably only going to do anywhere between like 0 and maybe 2 degrees at most. I don't want it to be too extreme or too little. I'll have to check to see what exactly is perfectly legal, because this unfortunately isn't going to be adjustable. I don't have that sort of material on hand, but it will be safe. It will be made out of quality material. Like I said, I do have 120 wall DOM and 3/16 inch plates. Both of those are beyond sturdy enough to handle what I'm doing with this, and should be a quality piece. So like I said, I already have the measurements out. Gonna go get everything cut, everything drilled, and then hopefully we can get to welding. Like I said, the weather still is dreary. Alright, so I have the two outside arms all bent up using 2 rocks and a hammer. I wish I was joking about that, but now it has come time to measure out the distance between these two, because they are at a equal angle, and as well as an angle that will work for the harness. So like I said, it's time to measure this out, see what we need to cut the DOM tubing. I am kind of weirded out by how long these arms are, so I may gusset the tubing to the arm, just to kind of give it an extra little bit of rigid feel. But other than that, also have these were like what I was originally going to use, but they ended up being too short to try and get the angle that I was looking for. So instead I'm going to chop the hole that's already created here and repurpose these. This is actually a perfect length. This is like use the 4-inch piece here, make a little platform, and then use the 2 hold pieces up top to make the lower mount in the center. I should have enough material. I may need to go get a little bit more. I'm not 100% sure, but for the most part everything's cut, aside from getting those 2 little eyepieces off and the tubing. But right now I'm going to get measurement so I can get the tubing cut, and then we will go from there. Alright, we have some progress. Got the harness bar tacked into place on both sides. Still need to wait for the gussets to weld in before I fully weld this guy up. And then we also have the center mount right there. Pretty much all that is left on this guy is to weld the 2 tabs that I'm going to use to mount the triangulated piece, like the center mount. The goal is going to be have 2 bars notched into here, triangulated down to the center, where they'll sandwich in a tab that's got the little hole in it that'll bolt into place at the center, and then everything should be good to be fully welded up, and then good to go. It is at a nice angle, as you can already see, so alright, I'd like to start off by apologizing for the lack of updates or filming, really. Well, I filmed a little bit, but I just sort of forgot where I left off, because this has been a multi-day process. So I just kind of like started doing stuff, and I'm just about done, but here's a little update. So have the bottom welded up, have the arms attached over there, welded up, and then I have the center mount notched out and ready to be tacked up and welded. Seat belts at the correct angle. Everything's moving right along, so should be done within the next few moments, and I can start painting everything, and then yeah, get to see the finished product. Alright, so harness bar is all done and painted up. Not too bad. So you can see, got it purple to match some of the rest of the interior back there. But yeah, everything seems to check out just fine. The bar itself is at the correct height. have support both on the sides and in the center. Made out of DOM tubing, so it's nice and strong. So yeah, should be good to go. That's gonna be it. So thank you guys very much for watching. Should see new videos soon. But yeah, thank you.